This is Richard Badger with the Accelerated Program with Alverno College. My assignment for this day is to review congressional speeches from Representative Ted Yoho as well as from Representative AOC or Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez out of New York. And primarily discussing the nonverbal aspects of their communication as they provided their speeches on the congressional floor. So first, let me start this assessment by stating that I believe that no woman should ever tolerate abuse from anyone, male, man, woman, child. No woman or no one for that matter should ever accept disrespect. And so stating that in the forefront. So with that said, let me jump right on in. So Representative Ted Yoho essentially provided what he deemed as, or what I deem as, damage control based on some actions that he took against Representative Ocasio-Cortez or Representative AOC. In that interaction that they had, Representative Yoho was extremely confrontational and ultimately belligerent and very, very disrespectful by referring to a woman or calling a woman out of her name or calling anyone out of their name is extremely disrespectful. And I believe that his actions definitely should have warranted some type of censorship from the House leader, although I don't think that occurred. Just my opinion, though. But as for Representative Yoho's speech on the floor that he provided, what I did notice is that for the bulk of his speech, he was really kind of monochromatic in his tone. So he kind of stayed level. There were points where he kind of showed some deviation in his pitch, but not a lot. He really kind of went totally off the script. And by going completely off the script that was prepared for him, he really didn't express any real nonverbal emotion that could be gathered. Although there were some inflections within the speech where he was really trying to detail some critical points, where he kind of slowed down his speech to kind of create, I guess, more emphasis to those critical points that he was trying to highlight. As well, I noticed that he categorized some of the behavior, and when he categorized it, he put what I would deem a very noticeable pause in between each of the category or each of the items. And then lastly, he had some slight bobbing of the head. But again, for the most part, because he was reading directly from a speech, there was not a whole lot of emotional discernment that I really got from his speech. The speech was well written for what it was, but the delivery of the speech was average at best. Now, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, affectionately known as AOC, her speech was definitely more personal. Although she did have her speech written, she did provide more eye contact than Representative Yoho. Yoho really provided very little eye contact. He really kept his eyes locked in on the speech that was prepared for him, whereas Representative AOC, she provided more eye contact. I did notice physically, though, that her hand gestures were definitely more noticeable than Representative Yoho. And so for me as a viewer, the hand gestures really become more engaging. So it's more like, it's more, for me, it's more capturing of the audience. And it shows, in my opinion, it shows more, more connection and more sentiment being conveyed within the speaker. One thing I did notice with Representative AOC is that she played with her ring in the beginning on the front end of her speech. She kind of played with her ring. And so there was, I think the ring was kind of a way of her calming herself down and getting over the initial anxiety of speaking on the floor. Because as she got more into her speaking, the ring, her touching the ring or playing with the ring really became obsolete. Now with her speaking, she her tone for the most part kind of stayed consistent, but I think the cadence of her speech changed throughout her speech. And what I mean by the cadence, she had times where it was more speed to what she was saying. Every now and then she'll throw in the New York accent. So that was, so kind of more, it became more personal. Because she provided so much eye contact, it really did provide an opportunity for the audience to be engaged because she was engaging with the eyes and with the hands and drawing people in. I think overall, if there's a compare and contrast, I think AOC provided a better example of how to captivate and keep the attention of an audience, whereas Representative Yoho provided us an opportunity to see how you can read from a script cleanly without really making any mistakes. But I think Representative AOC definitely conveyed her message. I think her message hit home. I think how she closed out her message by saying, by what she said, I thought was definitely pertinent. But again, I think her hand gestures, her physical movements with her hand gestures really provided more, you felt the conviction more so than from Representative Yoho. So that is my assessment of both the representatives in the speech. Again, in closing, I'll say this: no woman should ever be disrespected, tolerate disrespect, and if you are ever find yourself in a situation, I think Representative AOC definitely showed a great example of how to address it. Thank you for your time, and I will close out.